TIFU by sealing wasps in their nest, instead of killing them, by user Macintosh. Obligatory not today, this happened last week. But the after effects are still very much ongoing. We've had a wasp nest in the side of my house for a while now. Last week they stung one of my friends, so it was time to get rid of them. Given the amount of wasps in and out, it seemed like a big nest. To guesstimate the size, I would say a wasp entered or left the nest once a second, all day. I didn't want to just squirt poison down the hole, that would just piss them off and not reach most of it. So I decided to seal the nest with expanding foam sealant. I snuck out in the dead of night, and stuck enough foam in that hole to seal half a construction site. Little did I know how terrible of an idea this was. Apparently, there was another exit to the nest, going inside the house. This nest is enormous. Average size for a nest this late in the season is 2,000 to 4,000 wasps. Half our house is currently inaccessible. I sneak down to the basement at night to change the traps. I keep a hand vac next to my workstation. Our cats are not happy they've been locked into a single room, and are pissing everywhere to show their discontent. Doing my best Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, I've gone through 7 magazines on the bug assault shotgun, with maybe 40 shots per magazine. These fuckers are armor-plated, and do not die easily. I've injured my arm, pumping the shotgun so many times. I think the most disconcerting thing is how normal it's become. I wake up, grab the shop vac on the 60 feet extension cord, and just clear the house as a matter of routine. It's part of rising and shining for the day. Coffee, breakfast, wasp vacuuming, kiss the wife goodbye, time to work. The cold is going to kill them at some point, right? TLDR, sealed a wasp nest on the side of my house. Now the buzzing is coming from inside the house. TIFU by trying to compliment my girlfriend's dad, by user fit_summer7356. My girlfriend, 26F, invited me to dinner with her family for the first time. Her dad is this big, intimidating dude with arms like tree trunks and a very serious face. I, 28M, was nervous but trying to be polite and conversational. So when he walked in wearing this button-up that looked brand new, I said, "Hey, nice shirt. It really brings out your chest." The second it left my mouth, my soul left my body. His wife choked on her drink. My girlfriend turned bright red. And her dad just, slowly raised an eyebrow and said, "Thanks, I guess." I tried to clarify with I mean, the color. It brings out your, strength, which somehow made it sound way worse. The rest of dinner was me pretending to chew invisible food while everyone else tried not to laugh. TLDR, tried to compliment my girlfriend's dad's shirt, accidentally flirted with him. TIFU by congratulating my neighbor's boyfriend on helping his daughter move in, by user DevBDaydreamer. So I finally met the new neighbor today when I was bringing in packages. She was outside with an older guy. We chatted a bit, told her about myself and Bite, my cat, and the building. She told me about her job at a restaurant and how she usually has late shifts etc. It was all normal and sweet. Then I said something like, "It's nice your dad's helping you move in." She blinked, didn't say anything for a second. Kind of froze but not necessarily in a mad way. He, the older guy whom I thought was the father, laughed, and said, "Boyfriend actually." I tried to save it by saying "Wow, that's so cool," which made it about 100 times worse. Like as if she was dating someone like an astronaut or something. I wasn't sure if there was anything I should be saying or... I started saying something like "I'm sure you'll love the building." But I ended up retreating into my apartment mid-sentence. Now I'm avoiding eye contact every time I walk past their door. TLDR, I've mistaken my neighbor's boyfriend for her dad. TIFU by pretending to be a student at a high school and lost a job offer because of it, by user SuperMario1313. This happened 20 years ago but this foo is too funny not to share. This happened a few months after I graduated from high school. I had to go drop something off at the guidance office for my brother, still in school, so I visited the campus, dropped off the paperwork, and left the office to leave. The bell rang and classes started transitioning to the next class period. On my way out, I saw a cute girl I used to talk to, so I decided to walk her to class and catch up with her before I left. We got to her English class and there was a sub. I think I wanted to impress her, or at least keep on talking to her, so I chose to sit in that class next to her. They were taking a quiz on the Crucible, the teacher was out for a week and left the materials for the sub, so I just kept my head low sitting next to this girl and took the quiz. When it was done we were all chatting quietly. When the sub started taking attendance, she noticed that I did not look familiar as she had subbed there the day or two prior. She asked me my name and I froze. Didn't know what to do or say, but she saw I was not on the roster, so she called the vice principal to take care of the issue. I was terrified because this did not play out the way I thought it would. Sit through the class, the bell rings, then I just leave. Anyway, I explained myself to the VP with 100% honesty as he walked me out of the building. He laughed at it and understood where I was coming from. I did not get in trouble for trespassing or anything like that. Fast forward 10 years later, and I'm applying for jobs to be an English teacher all over the state. I apply to my alma mater and they call me in for an interview. As I'm signing in, dressed to impress and ready to crush this interview, the secretary takes a long hard look at me, and asks if I was the boy who sat in on her class when I was not supposed to. Surprise! That sub is now the secretary to the principal. She rolled her eyes at me as I had been seared into her memory after that day 10 years ago. Even though I did well at the interview, I did not get a call back. I wonder why. TLDR equals dropped papers off at the main office after graduating, blended in with the students in the hallway and sat in on a class W/a sub to see a cute girl. The sub found out and called the VP to escorted me from the building. Same sub 10YRS later is now the principal's secretary and told the principal about this when I came back to interview for a teaching job there. Great interview, no call back or anything. Go me. TIFU by accidentally triggering a police response at 3:30 am after leaving the hospital 6 hours earlier, by user Catasia. This happened last night. I had some chest pain that was persisting, so I went to the ER just to play it safe. They did an EKG, drew blood, and left a small 4 in my arm in case they needed it later. By the time I got back to the waiting room, there were twice as many people and barely any seats left. I'd already been there about an hour and a half, and after another hour, my results started showing up in the patient portal. Everything looked good, just like I expected. I knew I probably should have waited for them to take it out, but the staff were swamped. I was starting to feel better, and honestly I just wanted to get home and in bed at a reasonable hour. Once I got home, I removed it safely with no issues. Fast forward to 3:30 in the morning. My dog suddenly starts barking like crazy. I'm lying in bed half asleep when I start hearing low voices outside, and I see flashes of light from a flashlight hitting my bedroom wall. So I get up to check it out, and there are multiple people at my front door and one guy actually peering through a window with a flashlight from the backyard. There were 4 cops, EMTs, and even an ambulance outside. No one knocked. Does anyone know if that's standard procedure? For a second, I honestly thought someone close to me had tragically died or something. When I opened the door, they said the hospital had called because I left with the 4 still in. This was 6 hours later. I had already removed it safely hours earlier, and what's strange is that the doctor had actually called about an hour and 45 minutes before the police showed up, leaving a voicemail that said all my results were normal and that if I needed anything, they were there. So if there had been an actual concern, I can't figure out why the police were even called that far afterward. Everything's fine, but apparently I triggered a full-blown late-night emergency response over a tiny 4 that wasn't even hooked up to anything. My teenage daughter thinks the whole thing is hilarious at least, but now I know not to do this again in the future. TLDR, left the ER with an 4 still in my arm and somehow ended up getting hospital swapped at 3:30 am.